Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor. Now, it's real time.
Welcome back, everyone. And you know that every time I try to bring on one of our guides, sponsors, whoever it might be that's going to be an interview for that particular day, I always want to try to make it entertaining, and, well, TJ always is. But today, he was so good at his job, well, he's in his truck. TJ, how you doing, man? It looks like you had a really good morning to be done with your clients already.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome, man. Like we talked about earlier, it hasn't been like this every single day, so I'm pretty happy to take my wins when I can, if you will.
Now, it's been really good overall fall Chinook season up and down the Columbia. For you, up on the east side, would you agree? Has it been a good year? Struggle? What's been happening?
Yeah, I mean, despite the king of the reach, right, or what everyone says about it, it's been pretty dang good fishing up here. So, like I said, man, I'll take my wins when we can get it. I think as a fishery, we'll take our wins when we can get them nowadays, because they sure don't seem to be coming every single year anymore.
No doubt, and obviously you'd be right in the middle of it. So earlier in the show, prior to the show, you had mentioned that you had a little bit of a comeback. Can you explain what you mean by that? Were things a bit of a struggle for you for a little bit, and then kind of put things together? What happened?
Yeah, like you said, we briefly talked about it, but I could write a book about how to come back from an off week of fishing, because that's my thing, man. I had a pretty rough couple days where I had two groups of customers in that I really needed to catch them some fish, and for whatever reason, it just didn't materialize, whether it was weeds or water. I mean, we're all fishermen. We can all make excuses, but pretty much it comes down to I had a bad scent in my boat. So I went and retied all my gear, scrubbed everything out. I retied, cut off 50 feet of braided line on my main line. And then my dad was actually having the same thing. So long story short, we had the same group a week and a half ago. That's where we think this bad scent came from. Came from cigars and eating nasty jerky and some other stuff touching their gear. So, and we were both kind of hit a little slump here, and we both did the same thing. And I mean, he's already halfway to Tri-Cities right now, and I'm sitting here waiting, you know what I mean, for this. I mean, it sure flipped the script for us pretty fast.
You know, I don't, listen, I want to talk about how the fishing's been over there on the east side and everything else, but you kind of open up a can of worms there. This has been one of the toughest years that I've ever had during some of the best spring Chinook fishing, summer, and then, of course, fall Chinook fishing. Some of those things that you mentioned can really change I don't know if it's the best way to say it, but to change your luck, but maybe make yourself a little bit more appealing to the fish when you're chasing them. Obviously, you agree.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell my customers, and who knows how true it is, it's between you and I'm probably just made this whole thing up, but I always tell them they smell parts per billion. They can smell the exact rock they spawn on up the Yakima River from Alaska. So you tell me when you're filling up your boat with gas and itching, you know what, and eating breakfast burritos, touching your super baits and eggs, that it doesn't matter? Bull, man, it matters. I don't know. How about this? I'm not a good enough fisherman to not have clean gear.
I absolutely fall in that category. So listen, I had my boat gone through all the electrical stuff you could think of. I'm a hot boat, whatever, put black boxes on, and then you go out there with stinky gear. All right? So that's just another thing to make sure you pay attention to. Okay, so you're in the Hanford Reach area. You're all the way up over there. How's the crowd been? Has there been a lot of participation? Is it kind of light this year, or is it just a normal year as far as a lot of people out there chasing them?
I'd say the participation is down quite a bit.
Wow.
But that's just because, but it doesn't feel that way because everyone's congregated in only a few spots right now. I don't know the reason behind that, or I'd tell you, but it sure feels like 15, 16, 17, we had a heck of a lot more boats out here. But again, it just feels like there's a lot of guys because they're all congregated in a few spots. I mean, they're all fishing the mouth of tributaries, and we all know the places everyone's at because everyone sees it on Facebook every single day. But I don't know, it sure seems like a lot of people that normally fish, 20 days of fall are only fishing a couple.
Interesting. There's been some folks down here that have mentioned the same thing, although there's been no shortage of folks up and down the river, below, especially below Bonneville, as you know, especially the area that we live in. And you mentioned social media. There's been a lot of talk very, very recently, and I think it's more something that it's the cumulative up to this particular point, 2023, it's October. Things have really started to pop everywhere on every platform that's available. In your own personal opinion, and being much younger than I am, Do you see that as a detriment to our fisheries and hunting opportunities here in Oregon and Washington, or a positive to maybe get more people involved?
It's a catch-22. So a friend of mine, Steve Bramhall, always says, hey, change is coming. Social media is the future, so either get on or get off. So the old people that are, get off my lawn, get off Facebook. Dude, like, you can't stop it. It's here. There's nothing you can do about it. You might as well just spin it for the benefit of everyone. I mean, yeah, I get it, man. I've had fishing spots ruined. I've ruined fishing spots. It just is what it is. But I bet you if you could go back 30, 40 years and you could be connected with your friends and family and your fishing buddies as well as it is now back then, it would probably have been pretty neat, So no matter what your take is on it, it's here. So you might as well just get used to it, because you're going to be a very unhappy person if you're not.
Agreed. I think that's a very good way to put it, of course, especially being as young as he is. He's right in the middle of it. Me, I'm still the guy on the lawn. Get off my lawn or get out of my spot. Don't low hole me, Clint Lowry, who, by the way, is on hold. Who's on hold right now at the live report from the Columbia. We're going to get that here in our upcoming segment. Okay, so you're in Hanford Reach. Obviously, you guys over there I say you guys because you were there, started this whole thing with these 360s and super baits and all this stuff behind a giant skateboard. Well, is that how you're still targeting them? Have you been doing anything different, or are you just kind of running along that same MO with 360s and a super bait or something similar?
So I guess back to all the other conversations we had today, to tie it all together, that's kind of why I think the bite's been kind of tough as of the last couple of years up here. So it used to be the fish would swim upriver, and the first super baits they would see in 360s were in the Hanford Reach. Well, now they've seen them at the ocean, the buoy 10, the dead zone. All of a sudden, every single tributary up here, they've seen this fish. So by the time they've gone through 20 different baits, I'm pretty sure the fish that are up here don't want to bite that anymore, or those biters that were susceptible to that technique have already been caught. So you got to kind of mix it up a little bit, whether that's some oddball scents, whether that's different techniques, whatever it is. It's time to it's time to get a little crafty with it. I mean, back in the day, everyone used to troll eggs up here and back troll plugs, but that's because everyone trolled herring throughout the entire Columbia. So by the time they got up here, they didn't want a herring anymore, right? Or the ones that are susceptible to biting herring have already been caught. So it's the same concept, man. I mean, you can only you have a kid, right? I mean, you hand her mac and cheese, only takes so many times. Like, okay, maybe she's not eating mac and cheese. It's time to mix it up a little bit.
Great point, man. And really, he hits the nail on the head, everyone, and maybe something you might not even have thought about. They're seeing a 360 from Alaska. Now, they're seeing it every inch of their migration. It doesn't matter where they're going, even if they're ultimately going to finish off in the Snake, because there's people in the Snake River doing the same thing too. So, I mean, it's really... It's a great take. TJ, don't go anywhere. I got to bug you one more segment. When we come back from this break, we're going to wrap things up with TJ, and we've got a live report from Lowhole Lowry here in just a couple of minutes. And there is the fish box for TJ this morning with his clients. And please, just because there's a tomato or two in there, trust me, those things cut as red as they do below Bonneville. Believe it or not, it's kind of crazy. We'll be back with TJ Hester from Hester Sport Fishing in just a couple of minutes.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Chevy Silverado and the impressive new Turbo Max engine. Flex your muscle with the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. Official truck of Outdoor GPS.